Hi, I'm Terri Hemmert, and we're all in a state of shock about Tom Petty's passing. We didn't see that coming. He was just here at Wrigley Field this summer, and 66 years old. That's safe to think that he's going to come back again, but unfortunately, he's not. I have a wonderful memory of Tom I want to share with you because to me it says what kind of guy he was. It was 15 years ago. He just released The Last DJ, and an album that DJs felt a little uncomfortable about because he's trashing radio and the music business, but he made some good points. And they wanted me to interview Tom. I'd never met him before. And it wasn't going to be at the station where we all feel comfortable because this is home. It was down at the Four Seasons Hotel, I think it was. It was one of the swanky hotels down there. And it was a room that they booked just for this interview. 4 people: Tom, the record company guy, and my boss at the time, Norm Weiner. And that's always scary too when you have your boss in the room and you're doing a major interview with a superstar. I was really nervous, but we got there, and Tom came in, and I thought, whoa, this is not going to go well, because he was tired and distant and depressed. And I found out the reason why is he was jet lagged, and that's enough to send you off, but he had just come back from London the night before he'd played the concert for George, which was on the 1-year anniversary of George Harrison's passing. And to be there with Danny Harrison and Jeff Lynne, who was also in the Traveling Wilburys, and all those other people, and the reminders of George and singing his songs, had to really hit him deep because he loved George. They were like brothers. Well, all this being said, he was really down. And here he is to come and be crabby about his album, because the album itself was pretty crabby. It was like, really trashing the music business. So I thought, okay, I'll tread lightly here. And the interview got off to a polite start. And he's really tired, too. He's physically exhausted. So I'm very gentle with him because I empathize with that and his grieving of George. So we went along, and he's going on and saying the thing he'd said to 100 interviewers about what's wrong with the music business and how soulless it is and greedy and all this stuff, and how young artists aren't getting a break. And this is stuff he'd said over and over and over again, so it was sort of on autopilot. And I thought, somehow I have to get him out of that and to talk fresh and to say something he hasn't said before, and also to encourage him because he was really down. So I said, Tom, the thing is that these record companies you're talking about are big corporations. If we left it up to that kind of record business, rock and roll never would have made it. I mean, RCA didn't sign Elvis Presley until he put out a really great album that was successful on this rinky-dink little record company in Memphis, Tennessee called Sun Records. And I said, right down the street there's Chess Records, and that's where Chuck Berry and Muddy Waters and Etta James and all these amazing artists came from. We never would have heard of them if it wasn't, where would we be without Chuck Berry? I mean, where would George Harrison have been without Chuck Berry? And I said, the thing is that we're going back to that now with the internet, with the YouTube and all that. The kids are getting their music out there. They're not waiting for the big record companies to go through this 10-point process, that we're so used to in the music business. Everything's changing because technology is changing. Our access to music is changing. And he started thinking about it. He goes, yeah, because it was giving him hope. We were having a really great conversation. I said, in fact, Chess Records is a museum now. You should go down and see it. Well, I'm telling Tom Petty to go to a museum, and and he's exhausted. But he took that the way I intended it, and he started perking up. And he got really kind of excited about it. And so we started talking about how hopeful things are, really. And you can't just wait for big business to get something like the arts, And so what happened later, by the time he left, he was smiling. There's a picture I put on Facebook of him with a beautiful, warm smile on his face. It wasn't one of those cheesy, look, I'm with a rock star picture, and they're just trying to put up with this dumb DJ. He was really showing some warmth there. And he had really, if you could have seen him before, if we'd taken that picture before the interview, it would have been a different photograph. But the good news is he did go to chess, and he loved it. I didn't get to go to the concert the next night, but I had aired the interview, and people heard it, and I kept hearing from people saying he's talked about going to Chess Records, and he gave this encouraging pep talk to the audience about how music's in our hands now, and the young people are getting out there, and they're getting their music on the internet, and we've got to support that, and communicate and connect over this music. And I really, and I'm not saying this in a big-headed way, trust me, I really felt moved that he took that to heart so much, that my attempt to pull him out of his doldrums really sparked a new interest in him to see something positive in the world of music and how we consume music. So that's my Tom Petty story, and it really taught me that he really does, in his heart of heart, he really had a true rock and roll heart. He really was passionate about the music, about his fans, about the musicians he loved, like George Harrison, Bob Dylan, Roy Orbison, Jeff Lynne, all those guys from Traveling Wilburys. He was a fan. He was a fan of the music, and a fan that got to go up and do his own thing. And I think that speaks volumes about the character of Tom Petty and about what a good guy he was, not just a talented musician, but a really good man, and he will really be missed. I know the Heartbreakers must be flabbergasted, like what are they going to do now? And this came so suddenly, but anyway, keep him in your hearts and minds, and we'll keep him on the radio and in your ears and in your hearts. Tom Petty, we love you. Peace and love.